I explained this already, but I will go back one more time so you'll be sure to understand what we're talking about. So as you can see here, guys, you can hear me, correct?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you very much. I just want to be sure that we're talking about. Okay, so remember we talked about the equilibrium. Is that where we have the price right here at the equilibrium of 3 and 30? That's the equilibrium because the quantity supplied here at the price of 3 is 30. At the equilibrium price at quantity, sorry, at the 3 is 30. Okay. Now, what happens if the price is? Let's say you came to the market, you are selling this product, and then you did your analysis, your study, and then you say, okay, I'm going to charge $4. Okay. What's going to happen? So first things you see at the price of $4. Let's see what's going on here. Again, at the price of 4, the quantity demanded. I really want you to have to figure out because people make mistakes in this. If I say at the price of 4, you have a graph. Either you can go here 4, the quantity demanded is 20. At the price of 4, the quantity supplied is 40. That's from the table. But also you can just go to the graph. See, this is the demand curve. I just 4, go down, that's 20. At the price of 4, I will keep going all the way to the supply curve. I will come up with 40. So QD here is at the price equals 4. I just 4. This is the demand curve. Down equals 20. A QS, I would just go all the way to the supply curve. I come up with 40. So we have QD less than QS. If we have QD is less than QS, we have what we call surplus. How much is the surplus? It's 40 minus 20. How much is the surplus? Is QS minus QD. The distance between these 2 points is the same as the distance here. Okay, so that's how we come up. So now we have a surplus. The price, the law of supply and demand says if we have a surplus, the price tends to go down to the equilibrium. At the price of 5, let's do this 5, for example. If I want to figure out what is going on in the market at the price of 5, I just say what is at the price of 5. I have QD, it's 10. See, I go down, D go down, that's 10. Then I would go to the same things at price 5, go all the way to the supply curve, go down, QS is 50. Then I have QS is greater than QD, that's a surplus. How much is QS minus QD? The difference, so it means I will bring 50, like if I'm selling this product, I'm producing 50, and people only buy 10 if I charge $5. Then the price will have to go down to the equilibrium. Okay? So that's a surplus. But what if I have the price of $2 and I say, okay, $2, I can go to the table, I find out how much is QD. It's 50. And I go to the supply schedule at the price of 2, I have 20. So I have QD greater than QS with excess of demand or a shortage. This is the shortage right here. How much is the shortage? Is QD minus QS. So please, I really want you to, if sometime you will not get the tables, you will just have the graph. I say, what happens at the price of 2? First things you will notice that the equilibrium at 3 and the price is below the equilibrium, we call it shortage. How much? I figure out what is, this is a supply curve. This is QS 20. And then I will keep going all the way to demand curve, go down. That's QD 50. So I have at the price equals 2, QD equals 50, QS equals 20. You have QD is greater than QS, we call it short. How much is QD minus QS? At the price of 2, we'll have shortage equals to 50 minus 20 is 30. Means I will have, if I charge $2 for this product, I will sell all the 20 and I will have extra 30 people don't have access to the product because I'm charging below the equilibrium. I should start increasing the price to get to the equilibrium where the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied. At the price of 1, if the price equals to 1, I will do the same things. I would just either go to the table, find out, but I will really want you to have to do at the price equals to 1. I want to know how much is QD and how much is QS. So how can I do that? So first I'll go to the price 1, I go to this point here and go down, which is 10. This is because it's a supply curve. This is QS equals 10. Then from the same price, I will go all the way down here. I will find out what is QD, which is 80. You can see QD is greater than QS, is shortage. How much is the distance between these 2 points from here to here? We call it shortage or excess of demand. How much it is? It's 80 minus 10. Means I will sell 10 and I will have 70 people who are not able to get the product. What if you have a shortage, the price tends to go up. Okay, so I'm just going to summarize all this stuff in new slides so you can be sure that you can do this. So I have the price, the quantity, you have the supply curve S, I have the demand curve is D0. I always know the equilibrium is the intersection between these two. This is the price equilibrium, and this is quantity equilibrium. At the price PE, QD equal QS. Now, if I have a price P1 here, I can just say, okay, I'm going to find QD. I will just go all the way to the demand curve, go down. This is my quantity D1. And then I will go to the supply curve for the same price. I will find out what is QS here. So I have QS is greater than QD. That's a surplus. How much is the surplus? Is the distance between these 2 points, which is QS minus QD. If I have a surplus, the law of supply and demand says the price tends to go down to the equilibrium. Now, P2, I would say, okay, the price equals to P2. I want to find out QD and I want to find QS and compare them. So I will do, okay, I'm going all the way. This is what is the supply curve. Go down, this is QS2. Then I will go all the way to the demand curve for the same price. I will find out what is QD2. So then I will compare them. You can see QD is greater than QS. We call it excess of demand or shortage. Same thing. How much is the shortage? Equals to QD minus QS at the same level. The distance between the shortage. If we have a shortage in the market, the law of supply and demand says the price will tend to go up to the equilibrium. The more the price will start increasing. When you start increasing the price, the quantity supplied will increase, and the quantity demand will increase till they meet each other at the equilibrium. Okay, so remember this. It's very important. A market at the equilibrium at PE QE at the point A, the price above the equilibrium. If the price is above the equilibrium, we will have a surplus, which is QS greater than QD. And how much is the surplus? Equal QS minus QD. If the price is below the equilibrium, we'll have QD greater than QS. We call it shortage or excess of demand. How much it is? QD minus QS. The distance between this is, I will ask you a question that show me the shortage and the surpluses in the market, or what happens. You have to be able to show me that this is the shortage or this is the surplus and how much it is. This is QS minus QD. This is QD minus QS. Can you have a shortage and surplus at the same time? No. You cannot be in two positions at the same time. Either you are here, or you are here, or you are here. You cannot be at all the three positions at the same time, or you can be at the two. Either you have a shortage, means the price is below the equilibrium. You cannot have number X less than A and X, X greater than A and X is less than A. You cannot have this. Either you have this position where the price is above the equilibrium, we have a surplus, or the price is below the equilibrium, we have shortage, or it's the market at the equilibrium. This is, in the free market system, we say this is temporary situation. You might have some event that put the market at this equilibrium, but it will bring market again back to the equilibrium in the long term. Okay, so this is very important things to understand. Okay, so now we did all this stuff. So what happens now? There is different ways you can. Sometime in like when you study economics somewhere else, you will have they don't give you the graphs and stuff like that. They will give you equation. So we have remember the demand is a function and the supply is a function. I say find the equilibrium. We just know at the equilibrium is QS equals QD. That's all we know. I can solve this equation to come up with the equilibrium. So I will do QD equals QS, and I will replace each equation, okay? And I will solve it for the equilibrium. So let's go step by step. I want you to be sure to know how to do this. So 600 minus 50p, I'm just going to, okay? First, I want you to be sure you understand a few things. Go to new slide. So I have the demand is a function that shows that the quantity demanded is a function of the price, which is 600 minus 50p. And the supply is a function that shows it's 200 minus plus 150p. Okay. First things that you have to be careful. Always the slope of the line is negative. You can't, because the law of demand says it's negative relationship. You cannot have the equation with plus. It is wrong to say the quantity demanded, for example, equals 10 plus 2p. This violations of the law of demand. This is a positive relationship. You cannot have a function for demand that has a plus number. It has to be a negative number. The same thing for the supply. You cannot have QS equals 100 minus 5p. That's not, that's against, means if you have some situation like this, means you just made a mistake, you flip them. The law of demand says we have a negative relationship, means the slope of the line has to be negative. And the law of supply, this is positive relationship, it has to be a positive number. You cannot have the equation for demand curve that has a positive slope, or the slope for the supply curve that has a negative number. That's wrong. Okay, that's the first things you have to be careful with. So always you have to be careful. So the law of demand is negative, the slope of the line is negative, that's the demand curve. If it's positive, it means it's positive, that's supply curve. So let's do this thing. We have to solve this equation. So first, I started from the two equations, one that shows what is the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied, and one shows what is the relationship between the price and quantity demanded. So we say, let's say define the demand as equation that shows that the quantity demanded equals 600 minus 50p, and the supply curve is a function that shows that QS equals minus 200 plus 150p. So find equilibrium. We would say at equilibrium, we know one thing, that QS equals QD. That's 600 minus 50p equals minus 200 plus 150p. So now we have an equation that has one unknown variable. It's an equation, linear equation in first degree. So it is different ways you can do this. Most of the time, I just like the one thing I can do, I will bring the terms without p to one side and bring the terms with the p in it to the other side. So how can I do that? So let's start with p first. So if I want to bring this 50p to the other side, I just add 50p here. You have minus, I will put plus 50p. I'll have to do the same things for both sides of the equation. Now you will have minus 50p plus 50p is gone. So you will have 600 equals minus 200. So 150p plus 50p, that's 200p. And then I want to bring this term to the other side. I would just do the opposite sign, minus 200, I would do plus 200. I have to do the same things plus 200. So it will be 800 equals 200p. So if I want the equilibrium, I just divide both terms by 200. 200. So it cancels each other. So 800 divided by 200 is p equals 4. So now I find p equals 400. Now I have to come up with q. I will just take this number 4. I just plug it in one of the equation here, or this one. I have to come up with the equilibrium quantity. So if I put 4 here, it will be 200. So QE equals 600 minus 50 times 4. That's 200. That's 400. I will do the same things. I have to come up with the same number because I'm starting from they are equal. So if I have 400, I have to see if I come up with 400 here. So minus 200. Okay, so I know the price equilibrium equals 4. I just take the 4 number and plug it in each equation. I have to come up just for verification. It's good to know. I know it's for 400, but just to be sure that my calculations is correct, what I'm going to do is just plug the number in both equations and see if I come up with the same thing. So QS at the price equals 4. So it'll be minus 200 plus 150 times 4, it's 600. That's 400. So now I have the same solution. QS equals QD. Then I will just go back and build my graph based on this equation. I can build my graph, say, okay, I know if I have these equations, I can come up with a graph that shows my equilibrium, it's at 4, and that's the price equilibrium, and the quantity equilibrium, it's 400. So I can build the graph now. I don't have to do table or anything. So if I will find the equilibrium like this, I do, okay, the price, quantity, I know the equilibrium is at 4, and quantity equilibrium is at 400. That's my equilibrium. Okay, so that's easy to find. So you will start with the equation, assuming that the equilibrium at QS equals to QD, and then you solve for the unknown, which is the price here. Okay, so let's do it again, and then you build the graph showing the equilibrium. Well, let's see, that's very important. Now, remember, so equilibrium means QS equals QD. I will plug the equation for QS here, which is minus 200 plus 150 P equals 600 minus 50P. I have to bring the terms that are alike, they look alike, to one side, and the ones are not alike, I mean, so in different side of the equation. So for example, I will bring P's to this side, and I will bring numbers to this side. So I will start with adding 50P here. If I add it, I have to add it in both sides. So to keep the equalities not changed, I have to add 50P and 50P. So it's gone here because minus 50P plus 50P is gone. And then you will have minus 200 plus 200P. Then I do equal to 600. Then I can bring this one to this side, which is minus, I would do plus 200. Plus 200. That's it. So 800. This is cancels. 200P equals 800. And I will divide by side by 200. It will be divided by 200. That gives me the price equilibrium equals 4. When I come up with the price equilibrium, I just plug the number in both of them, so just to be sure that I come up with the equilibrium. Okay, so that's one thing. So now you know the equilibrium. Now the other questions you might get with this thing is say, okay, now, so let's say I will give you this. I say, look, the demand curve is a function that shows that the relationship between the price and quantity is 600 minus 50P, and the supply curve is a function that shows the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied is minus 200 plus 150P. The first question will be find the equilibrium. You did the calculations, you find out PE equals 4, QE equals 400. Okay, so I say, okay, I'm going to build the graph. I'll show the price quantity. I show the equilibrium at 400. So the second question would say, what will happen if the price is $10? So tell me what will going to happen if the market price at $10. So first things you can see is that the price is greater than the price equilibrium. So 10 is here. So it means you have a surplus. That's the first step. Second step is that how much is the surplus? You have to figure out how much is the distance between these 2 points. But so to figure this out, I have to figure out what is the quantity demanded here and what is the quantity supplied here at the price of 10. So at the price equals 10, I can calculate the quantity demanded equals. I just take the price and plug it in the equation. So at the price equals 10, the quantity demanded will be 600 minus 50 times 10 is 500. that will be 100. So at the price of 10, the quantity demanded is 100. Then I say at the price equals 10, the quantity supplied equals how much? Minus 200 plus 150 times 10 is 1500. That's 1300. So that's quantity supplied is 1300. Now I have QS because I know it's a surplus because the price is above the equilibrium. So QS is greater than QD, surplus or excess of supply equals to QS minus QD equals 1300 minus 100. It will be 1200. The surplus equals 1200. Okay. So if we don't have the equilibrium, means we have a, what does that mean? We don't have equilibrium. We don't have equilibrium means that QD and QS are not equal. It means you will have at the same price. So I know this is the equilibrium. So if I know this is the equilibrium, any other price other than 4 will have one quantity demanded and one quantity supplied. They are not the same. So I know the equilibrium. The only time I have QS equals QD is if it's the price is 4. If it's 5, 6, 3, 10, I have to calculate this by itself and calculate this by itself and find the difference between the two and figure out is it surplus or shortage. If PE is 4, if I say P equals 10, I know for fact that I have surplus. Surplus means QS is greater than QD. And I just plug the numbers, come up. So, but what if I say the price equals 2? I just make things up. 2. I know the equilibrium is at 4. If the P is 2, the price is below the equilibrium, 2 here. I know the QS is less than QD. We have excess of demand. Okay, and I will have QD greater than QS. And then I have to calculate for 2. How much is QD? Will be 600 minus 100 because 50 times 2 is 100. That will be 500. And this one minus 200 plus 150 times 2 is 300. That will be plus 300. That will be 100. So QS is 100 and QD is 500. So you can see that we have a shortage. Okay, so that's the way you do it. And then you just, for example, in this case, and then I will say, okay, I find out what happened at the price of 4. We have equilibrium. Then at the price of 10, I have 10. I have a surplus because this is QD here, and then I have QS here. This is a surplus, and equals to QS minus QD. And then at the price of 2, it's the same thing. I will have this is QS here, and then I will go QD here. This is a shortage because QD is greater than QS. A shortage equals to QD minus QS. Okay, so what are you trying to do? Economic analysis for all this thing. Okay, let's go and let's see if I have an example. We can do it again one more time. I'll share with you the example that we can. Okay, let's do this example. One more example I have here. Oh, sharing. Okay, I'm going to share with you. I want to try it for like 5 minutes. I'm going to just try. So find out the equilibrium for this equation. So we have the example here. I'm just going to, if you cannot see it, I'm just going to make it bigger so you can see it. Find the equilibrium for this example. I have a product that has the solve for the equilibrium. It's an equilibrium. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to try it, and then 5 minutes find the equilibrium.